A good evening, good Tuesday evening, and it's a pleasure to be with you. Welcome to Power to the People once again. Um, and this is our season 2, and I think this is our 5th episode. And we have about 4 more weeks before we end season 2. And so we're grateful to be with you again on today. And we have a fantastic guest that's going to bring us some knowledge and understanding about our money. Uh, and I hope that anybody and everybody wants to know a little bit of knowledge about money. And so we have a someone that I'm going to have them to explain a little bit about themselves or introduce themselves, but they are a professional from this point of life. And so I want to give a shout out to USC Gamecocks. We're going to be about 45 minutes, and therefore you'll be able to catch probably the second or third quarter of their games. Who are they playing? Texas. So I want to also, this is our last broadcast before the month end, and this month is Women's Month. And so, as I did Sunday, I called out names of several women that's connected to the ministry, staff leaders, staff workers that has made this ministry successful in the last few years, and especially since we've been online. So to all of you, I won't be calling the names tonight because I want to get to the game, but I do want you to be informed so that you can be empowered as a people as it concerns your pocketbook. Amen. All righty. So without further ado, I'm going to bring up our guest, and this is the Right Reverend. He's a new Reverend, Alan Williams Jr. How you doing, buddy?
Man, I am doing amazing, Dr. White. I'm doing a wait. Hey, can you hear me well?
Hey, you well.
Okay, man. I'm doing great. It's always a pleasure to be with you, man. So I'm looking forward to tonight, man.
All right, good to have you. Tell us a little bit about yourself there. Hey,
Yeah. So I'm a Chiraw native. Of course, a good bit of viewers today are familiar with Chiraw if they're familiar with you. So I'm a Chiraw native. Graduated from high school in Chiraw in 2007, and I then went on and I did 2 years at the community college right there in Chiraw. At Northeastern Technical College. Then I went over and did 2 years at Gardner Webb and got a business management degree there from Gardner Webb. And then I like to tell people that I grew up in the bank. So literally right, I think a semester or two before I finished at Gardner Webb, I rolled over into, which was Wachovia at the time. And I was a teller there. And man, December of this year, December of last year. December of last year made my 10th year in the bank. So I've been in the banking industry, man. It started right there as a teller, and went from a teller, went to do some leadership roles right there, like in the teller line, and then navigated over to the platform side, where there's small business lending, personal lending, that kind of thing. And now I'm a branch manager, back full circle back in my hometown of Chiraw, man. So it's been an amazing journey.
All right. Okay. Well, great. Well, we're glad to have somebody with expertise coming out of the small town of Chiraw.
That's
and with
right.
That said, I want to welcome our West African, Nigeria, and Kenya. You all probably sleep about now, but when you wake up, you'll have
Awesome.
this information. And I want to welcome all the Chiraw, Texas, California, New York, Maryland. Thank you all for riding with us. I want to say, as we jump right in here, that AJ, I call him AJ if he don't mind.
That's right. I'm good.
He's a great part of our success as well. He got me used to being on the camera.
Wow, man.
He has another business. Is it Purpose Fanatic?
Yep. So Purpose Fanatics is owned by the Williams Company. So the Williams Company kind of came up and provided an umbrella for Purpose Fanatics. But yeah, man, and the broadcasters came a long way, man. I'm loving what I'm seeing.
Well, not just what you're seeing, but we're celebrating. I'm celebrating all month, and people may get tired, but I'm glad God doing what He's doing. But we're averaging 20,000 since we changed the name of the church to Destiny. 20,000 a
Yes.
week.
That's
20,000
man a week, man,
Yes,
brother.
yes,
I
20,000 a
mean,
week.
you and I have had some conversations, man, when you were climbing up. I mean, it was never horrible when you were climbing up, man. And man, to see 20,000 a week, man, you've been putting
Yes,
some major work in.
it
But
is.
I mean, the Destiny
Yes.
message is powerful, man, and
Right.
it deserves to be around the world. So for sure.
All right. Well, God bless. Thank you. All right, let's go and jump on in here with both feet. And I hope our audience will keep in mind that this is to bring knowledge, and hopefully AJ will come back in season 3 early. I bring him on early in season 3 and help us break down budgeting and that type of thing. But what I want to do today, and we did a little of this last year, is to bring you knowledge. And knowledge, of course, is power. And then you can understand why you want to be able to budget. So according to 2018 Forbes report, the median Black wealth is projected to reach zero by the year 2053.
Yep.
And that's right, 2053. Can you
That's
explain
right.
to us what wealth is? What is wealth?
Man. First off, Dr. White, you said something right there, and I just want to highlight that really quickly. This segment right here, everything that we're going to share, it is beneficial, and it is to inspire knowledge. Some of it is stretching, but one thing we have to understand is not passing judgment on anyone. Not passing judgment on anything, but we as a people, we have a responsibility to help each other. So man, yeah. So I just think that's important. But yes. The first part, man, to answer this question right here, what is wealth? So at its essence, right? At its essence, just the pure definition of wealth is the accumulation or the amount of valuables and assets that one has. So the amount of assets and valuables that belongs to an individual. And so when we talk about wealth, and when we talk about wealth in reference to this question, right? It's so Forbes put a report out in 2018, and I mean it was startling. Our company, well, the Benjamin Agency, our company, they went in, and it was so startling that we built out a project around this, just to draw awareness. So in reference to this question right here, 2018, the Forbes report stated that if things continue the trend, and in all ethnic groups, African Americans, median wealth level will be zero by the time of 2053. And what it means there is not to say that African Americans aren't going to make any money, right? That's not saying that. What it's saying is, because again, back to the essence of the definition of wealth. The definition of wealth is the amount, right? It's the overall amount of what your assets are and what your valuables are, right? And so that's a median. So meaning if you have, one person and their assets are worth, 500,000, right?
Right.
And just say you have 10 in that group, but you have 30 people who they don't own anything. They pay rent. They don't own a vehicle. They don't have any ownership to tie to wealth. And say you have 30 people down there. What is that going to do to the 10 people that, that has 500,000? It's going to bring that median level down.
Okay.
And so the report from Forbes, it was a very striking report because it was so direct. But when you think about it in its essence, it's like, hold on for a second. First of all, in order for me to be wealthy, I have to own something.
Right.
And second of all, how many African Americans are playing in the ownership game, and how many aren't? And if that number, which Forbes has reported, if the majority of that remains that African Americans aren't owning anything, then that number is going to be zero by the end.
Wow. What what hinders us from owning so much? Do we have to
Wow.
own a lot? Is that what you're saying? Or what is it that hinders us from owning what we need to own? And what do we need to own, sir?
Yeah. And I like to think about that question, right? I mean,
Mhm.
like, and it doesn't take. I mean, because there's some questions, that we discuss, and we may touch on a little bit here in a little bit. But when it comes to African Americans and other ethnicities,
Mhm.
uh, when we compare, it's not that they own so much, not the masses of them, not the majority of them, but they're in the ownership game. So what does that mean? We said two things. We said assets and we said valuables, right?
Mhm.
And so when we think about it, think about what you do, what you need for your day-to-day living. So, i.e., right, your house, right, your home, or if you're in business, your place of business, if it's a brick and mortar, right,
Right.
whatever you utilize for your day-to-day, there should be some sense of ownership there,
Mhm.
right? And so if I have to come to my home, if I have to live in my home every day, my kids live in my home, I mean, this is my home. If I'm renting, there should be a point in time where ownership is in the question. Like, ownership should come up, because I'm if I'm living there, I'm paying rent of some
Right.
sort, right?
Right.
And so what happens is, other ethnic groups, they get that. They get, hey, I'm supposed to own this house.
Mhm.
Because it's a smart move with my money, right? And if I'm going to give money, then I need to give it to something that I can ultimately own. And that's how we get into the ownership game. The other part was the assets piece, right?
Right.
So when we think assets, and that conversation can go, a few different ways, but just a small part of it. When we think assets, think about, so you have your savings account, and however you handle your savings account, that's however you handle it.
Mhm.
However, your asset should be making you money. There should be some type of investment. There should be something that's kind of locked away, not necessarily locked away to where you can't touch it. However, it should be strategic enough to be considered an asset, and you're not dipping into it every day. You know what I mean? And
Okay.
so that's how we get in the ownership game.
Okay. All right. Okay. And so it's a mindset, pretty much.
It's a mindset, man. It's a mind. We all can do it. Some we have to go back to scratch, right?
Right.
So we have to go back to scratch and then start small. That's okay.
Right.
That's good. But it's a mindset. First, we have to, like you said, shift our mindset to ownership
Mhm.
instead of renting, or instead of that kind of thing.
Just spending it as soon as we get it. Stimulus, just go to the shoes and stuff.
Ooh,
So
sir.
on it. So I got you. I got it. I got it. A light bulb just went off. I got it. But
Right, right.
I'm glad I'm old enough now to don't have to worry about Jordans. I have to worry about stretches and stuff. But then, and so you start. We should start young. It's what with
Man,
our
we should start
children at
young.
least. Hmm.
Man, that's so good, and it's interesting that you said that. And so one of the things that people don't understand is, whatever our kids see, they're going to emulate that.
Ah,
And so instead of saying, hey, like, your granddad gives you, $30 every time you make AB honor roll, right? And then you let them spend that $30. If the kids see us, taking that $30, splitting it in half, saying, hey, 15 is going to go into this brokerage account that I have, that my mom and dad has for me, right?
mhm.
And brokerage account is just a big term for just some kind of structured savings account that could yield you interest, right? And so if the kids see that, now they're going to be used to it.
Right.
They're going to know, okay, my money should make money for me at some point.
Right. Exactly. Gotcha. Gotcha. All right. That makes sense. So hopefully those of you that are listening, share this with your children. Share this video with your children,
Sure.
especially if they're getting ready to go to college or already in college, because and military especially, because what I find that happens, AJ, at a young as we leave home, then you got Visa, MasterCard, all these people start sending you uh, pre
Yeah.
call it
qualifications, right?
pre-approved. Y'all do that.
Yep.
Y'all don't do that.
Yeah. We
Pre-approved
do that.
stuff, and then
We do
instead
that
of
too.
so in the and that's they target young military and young college students, and they're in debt before they can get out of college or before they can get their first couple of years in the military through. So
Man, you're right. You're so right.
yeah. Okay, so we're gonna jump down here. Well, I know we got some older people. Let's talk about retirement real quick. Outside
Okay.
of retirement accounts, only 37% African Americans own wealth building products such as stocks, mutual funds. So, in your trained opinion, why is this percentage low? I guess you kind of pretty much answered that. It's a almost mindset.
That's it. That's it. That's it. That's it. Man, in my 10 years at the bank, that's what I've seen. Mindset is
Okay.
it's just because we believe. Prime example. So I had a customer, great, dear lady. Amazing lady. We didn't really know each other before the bank at all, but I did a transaction for her one day, and we just have had an amazing working relationship. So she had a situation where she received a settlement, right? Got the settlement. She came in, she said, hey, I want to get a CD. I want to, use part of it to fix my, I think I don't know if she was living like in a mobile home or in a single family home at the time, but she wanted to take some money and make some home improvements. And she said, I want to put the other part into my CD, right? And so did that, and she yielded to my advice in most of it. And she was set up, man. She was coming against this 37% number. She was coming against that. And and the reason I say it's a mindset, and the reason I wanted to share that quick story with you is because, man, it was probably about 5 months in, and she hit this place where she was like, okay, well, my family needs for me to help them out with XYZ, right? And so she calls and she's like, so I need to come in and withdraw some from that CD. And in my mind, I'm like, okay, here we go. Because man, it's a mindset, man. It's a mindset.
Been in there long at all, huh?
Hadn't been in there long at all, man.
Yeah.
She had a plan, and it's a mindset. And so we've been conditioned to think that the money that we store up is meant for immediate gratification, and we don't yield to discipline. So we yield to comfort instead of discipline, and therefore that number doesn't pass 37%.
And instant gratification, I think that's one of the big ones. That's one of the big ones I had to get over myself.
Us all, man.
Yeah.
Yep.
Okay. And so let's move to the next. While we're on the 37%, white middle income household have 8 times more wealth than black middle income households. How can this be after all? You consider both middle class,
right? Now that's that's a good one, man. Yeah. That is a good one, man, because oh man, goodness, that right there tells you his mindset, Dr. White.
Yeah.
you know what I'm saying? It's man, this statement says, okay, white middle income households have 8 times more. All right, and we see this all the time. So tell me, how many times have you passed through a neighborhood, and when you're from a small town like we're in, how many times have you rolled past a neighborhood and you're like, hold on for a second, that particular person, she has this type of job, you know what I mean?
Right.
So I know she's not making 6 figures.
Right.
I know. And then she's married to him, and he's a public worker or something like that. And so I know they're not making 7 figures, but yet they're in this affluent neighborhood. They have this nice big house. They're sending their kids to certain schools. You know what I mean? And so the question therein lies: how in the world are they middle income and we're middle income, but they have infinitely more than we do, and they have a savings that they don't touch?
Wow.
And so this right here, this right here breaks it down and say, listen, it's two things. It's generational, so it's cultural,
Mm-hmm.
and then it's mindset. And so one set of people is in the ownership game, and one set of people are disciplined,
Mm-hmm.
and another set of people, although they're both middle income, although they're bringing in the money, how the money is going out is the determining factor.
Oh, okay. So this fits right in here. Then I guess this question probably answers the same thing. So the reading of I found on average, Black households need $105,000 to have the same lifestyle as middle income white house
Man,
at 37.
look,
That speaks to exactly what you just said for the most part.
man, that's why we have to have so much. Like we have to have it's okay. Mr. Benjamin, which Mr. Benjamin is the Marcus Benjamin is the founder of In the Black, right?
Mhm.
And In the Black is a program that specifically zeroes in on the African American wealth gap. And one statement that he says, and he shares with people, he shares with African Americans, is what what you make per year isn't what your pay stub says, but it's how much you keep.
Hmm.
So it's not what your direct deposit says you make, it's how much you keep after your expenses. And Dr. White, one set of people understand this and one set of people don't. You know what I mean? It's because we look at it, these are the numbers right here, right? We look at it like, okay, I make $67,000. And we think that's what we make. Other ethnic groups, they know I'm not focusing on the $67,000.
Hmm.
I'm strategically aligning all of my expenses. I'm strategically using my credit. I'm strategically paying this stuff off
Mhm.
at the least interest that I can pay, because I know the true game isn't how much I bring in, but it's how much I keep.
Right.
Whereas African Americans have faced the challenge to say, okay, I need to make more, make more, make more, make more.
Mhm.
Why? Because we spend more, spend more, spend more. And so again, man, the running theme in it all is, man, we have to get that mental shift from how much I make to how much I keep.
So, all right, and would it be safe to say, getting to a point where your money is working for you?
Wow. Wow. And see, we didn't even get on that point, but it's the
Okay.
wealth building assets, right?
Right.
And you know this, it's there should be a percentage of your money that is working for you, be it investment, be it, and investments can look totally different. You have real investments, that's more like your natural resources, that's more like real estate, that kind of thing. You can have equity investments, that's more like your stocks and bonds, even your business ventures, if it's calculated and proven. But a percentage of what you bring in should work for you. You're right, because listen, here's the thing: you can't save yourself into wealth. For the audience out there, listen, if you don't take in, remember that you can't save yourself into being wealthy. There has to be some offensive strategies in place that helps generate income for you. Now, before that, you have to have the discipline to save first.
Mhm.
But after that, be disciplined enough to say, okay, if I'm ever going to become wealthy, if I'm ever going to have more than what I need to pay my bills and just get to the next payday, there needs to be some type of investment strategy that I have. And that can be small or it can be bigger.
All right. And then that we're halfway there. Just two more questions. Well, after this one, we'll take a 90-second break and do a couple commercials, and then we'll finish up with the last two questions.
Okay.
Here, over the past 30 years, wealth in the Black community decreased by 75%, while wealth in the white community rose 14%. Tell us what happened there.
Man, and I love this question right here, man, because the question says, what happened in a time where African Americans are more educated
Yeah.
and have higher level positions in the workforce? Listen, that's the thing. I mean, we have African Americans out here who are killing it in business. I mean, like the entrepreneur rate is, I mean, as high as it's ever been. They have higher, like the question says, they have higher positions in the workforce now. African Americans are being promoted, some because of diversity issues and, just having to meet inclusive, quotas per se. But nevertheless, the opportunity is given, right? And we're becoming more educated. So why in the world is it decreasing?
Mhm.
It goes right back to what am I used to? What did I see mom and them do, right?
Wow.
Like if I seen if and you remember they would tell us, like we were coming up and we would get paid for whatever, like maybe it was good grades or maybe we helped do something, and they gave us $10-15 or whatever. And as soon as we could get to the store, we'll be buying something, we'll be trying to get
As soon as we get it. And then we were given money with the intent to go to the store.
come on,
oh, you got
come
$1. Okay, you earned $1. Here, go to the store with granddaddy or whatever.
That's it.
And so that's the mentality that I picked up. I leave it.
That's
personal.
it.
So,
No.
So I get it,
because
and I go to the local community corner store, and so now I get it, and I go to the local mall. That's it.
Now you get it and you go to the local mall. That mentality transitions along with you. So the older you get, the more you still have that mentality. So to the point, like we're getting more educated, right? However, we still have those habits. So and here's what we have to understand as a people. We can become more educated, we can make more money, we can do more things, we can be exposed to different things, but if we don't address our habits, if we don't add intentionality to our money, we're going to always be in that cycle. And then that's why the like the stat said, white Americans have increased by 14%. While we have decreased. And the thing is, that's because culturally they're taught to do they're taught to go a different route. Right. We were taught to get money, go to the community convenience store. With them, they were taught, no, you're going to be disciplined enough to where, I'll buy it for you. You don't spend your money on this, and we're going to store money up for you. And so, and you save. So in white America, they saw their money being split into different categories: one necessity, one savings, and then one for whatever you desired or you wanted. Whereas African Americans, we were given the whole $20 bill and we were told, hey, go get what you want. Right. And so in turn, like you said, it goes from the convenience store to the mall. Same habits.
Okay. All right. So we have 2 questions left for you, AJ. If you will hold on, give us about 90 seconds so we can introduce some of these businesses. All right. Okay, we have, can you take the streaming down, please? Yard card on the green, I'm sorry. It services locations in Northern Virginia. Owners are Adrian and Asia Carroll. Yard Card on the Green is the premier yard card company serving the DMV, Washington, D.C., Maryland, Virginia. And then they deliver signs for all purposes that you may have. You may have purpose of a birthday coming up, holidays, retirement, and whatever you desire. You can also contact them at www.yardcardonthegreen.com. As you can see, they are killing the game. NBC had them on the Today Show, so they are killing the game if you're up there listening to us in the DMV area. All right. And then we have Avon. You'll love to shop, but why don't you just go ahead and get paid to shop? And we have representatives, Mrs. Sharon Jefferson, and Miss Sandra Sawo. All righty. And then we also have Thunderbird Law Firm, covering all of the boroughs of New York, including New Jersey. You can contact Latoya Thunderbird Esquire. Practice is in divorce law, family law, personal injury, last will and testament, living wills, civil and criminal law, DWI, and DUI. All right, she covers it all. And then last, we have Miss Natasha Grisham of Paracaleo Management. They come alongside to fulfill your business as a help or whatever you need as an extra. She will come alongside you to help you in your businesses. And I serve as her executive director of live streaming. So if you're interested in live streaming anywhere with your family, your business, we contact us and we'll be sure to get you up live streaming through StreamYard. All right. And we are going to have Mr. AJ to come back with us now. All right, brother. Thank you so much for being patient with us. And we're going to try to get out of here on these last two questions. Let's see here. All right. African American home ownership rate is barely above 40%, lowest among all major ethnic groups, and the lowest it has been since housing discrimination was illegal. How can we improve this stat?
Man, this one, there's a few things that contribute to this, Dr. White. There's a few things that contribute to it. One is education. And so forums like this right here are priceless, man, invaluable. Just because if we're not exposed to new information, we will never. Somebody put in the comments earlier, I saw bad habits, right? We will never eradicate those habits. Yep. Doretha, we will never eradicate those bad habits if we don't get the new information. And so, one, making it available, having opportunities like this right here to say, hey, come get this information, come be a part of this. And two, in addition to that, giving the support to our people, to help them as they utilize the information. So I mean, like, there's some people who are just simply discouraged and they're like, man, I've been turned down for, personal loans. So I'm not even going to try for a mortgage loan. Right. But you always have time to improve your credit. I mean, you always have time to get mortgage ready. But if you never start, I mean, you're never going to get there. So, I mean, I believe education has a big part to play in that. And I mean, that's like a lot of people look towards, for schools and different, like places of work and that kind of thing, to do it, and which rightfully so. But let's be honest, it starts in the house. Dr. Martin Luther King said a quote that was so, just so profound, but he said the first and most important educational institution is the family.
Right.
And so I mean it starts in the home because they spend the most time, with you, and then secondarily in our churches. I mean, we have to have opportunities in our churches to inform our people. So the only time they're hearing about money isn't Malachi 3:10, right? right? It's so the only time they're not hearing about, I mean, they have to know, hey, no, like, there's a discipline, and even the Lord, instructed us very clearly that we are to be responsible stewards over our finances and resources. And so, man, I believe education is huge when it comes to that. And then secondarily, man, just another startling point is, man, when you look at the statistics between married and non-married households. So married and single family households, it is startling when it comes to home ownership.
Okay.
It is right now in 2021, it is extremely hard to become a homeowner off a single income.
Ah.
Is it impossible? No, 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 no. It's not impossible at all. But the statistics show that the most successful rate when it comes to mortgage, when it comes to home buying, is in the married household. And that's a fact from an African American standpoint that, is just, you know what I mean? Yeah, yeah. And so you have something on that, sir?
Yeah. Well, so in your business, do you even see singles coming in to apply for home?
Man, I'm telling you, man, if I had to throw out, just say, okay, this is March, right? So say March and February, right? The 10 people that came into the branch that we had conversations with, and I'm going to share an example from my wife in a minute as well. But the 10 people that we saw come into the branch in since February and in March, out of those 10, I saw one single person.
Well, that's funny because for some reason, my observation, I thought I saw a lot of, or seen a lot of single people that own their homes. Now,
Sir,
I don't know where it come from, but it just seemed like
it,
because women are so more progressive.
correct. No, that's correct.
Like you just go ahead and get their stuff.
That's correct. That's correct. And when you drill down into it, right? When you drill down into it and you look at the home ownership component, that's not to say that they aren't there. That's not to say that some gentlemen aren't there. You know what I mean? But that's not to say that women aren't in the ownership game, because they are. Yeah. They are. And that's not to say that you can't. Again, you can. But when you compare the ones that are against the married household families, mm-hmm, those numbers are startling, because when it comes to a mortgage, get this. Yeah. The way it is to be approved for a loan and the stipulations you have to go through to get a loan, most of the time, African Americans, because of where they work, because of how much income, because of how long they've been on that job, because of their debt to income ratio, because of their credit history, credit score, what's on their credit, what's not. Most African Americans don't automatically meet all those mortgage stipulations. Therefore, having two, and get this now, but it isn't just the Black African Americans either. Mm-hmm. Caucasians know this. Dr. White, you just said, well, it seems like I can identify some singles who own homes. But think about Caucasians. Think about how many single Caucasians are owning homes. That's mainly married people, right?
Yeah.
It's because the way mortgages are set up, it's set up to be so intense that it goes against. Hold on, Siri popped up. There it is. It goes against the single family structure, or the single person structure. So man, when we dig into I learned this, and when I learned this, man, it was groundbreaking for me. But I learned, I was in a seminar and it was said, and I was like, oh my goodness, marriage is also a financial strategy.
Oh, well, yeah, I peeped that game a long ago. I see that game. You like, why he with her and her with him? So, right, yeah, I know that guy. I see that.
And man, I'll use myself, right? I'll use myself. So I got married New Year's Day. New Year's Day, I got married, right? And before that, I was a branch manager.
Mhm.
I was, I was educated. I was a branch manager, and I was making an income, right?
Mhm.
My wife is a realtor and a nurse, and before that, she was single, and she was in the same boat. Put us together, our options multiplied.
Mhm.
So when we go talk to a lender now, the conversation is totally different. Not that I wasn't doing well and she wasn't doing well, but now you join those together, it's a strategy. And the opportunities are multiplied, man. So I believe that has a lot to do with the mortgage as well.
So if you living together, just living together, not married, does that? I don't know, but does that qualify as um, two incomes?
Yeah, so basically, when it comes to mortgage specifically, because the answer to that is yes and no. Because some things go off taxes, right, and some things go off. I mean, some things want to see that you guys are married. But when it comes to a mortgage, if that person is going to be on the mortgage with you, it's fair game.
Mm. But when y'all are approving loans, do you make an assumption that because of that situation they may not be together and you may not be able to get your money, so you
So
rather have, if they're married, that gives another scale for them to get the loan?
you're all over it.
Well, I'm just guessing, man.
You're all over it. So I mean, hey, look. Your audience is like family to me, so I'm just gonna pull you guys right on up to the banker's table, right? And so for a bank or for a lending institution, yes, that's considered. It's because this underwriter is going to sit down, and this underwriter is trusted with that from that institution. The institution trusts them to make the right decisions. So they're going to go through with a fine tooth comb, and anything that pops up and shows them, hey, this income may not be here, 5 years from now. Of course, I mean, we never know what'll happen, but if they can get any clear warning that this may not be here,
Mhm.
i.e., you guys are just dating
Mhm.
and you're not married, yes, that's a red flag for an underwriter.
Okay, so just want some people to know that, just in case. I wasn't
So,
sure. Had to ask the man with the
so
plan.
that's right. That's right, man.
All right. So I hope you all are getting something out of this. I want to welcome YouTube Live and Periscope. Periscope Live, folks. I'm sorry. This got one more question, but let me tell you why I'm on my mind, because I'm getting old, AJ. Periscope is shutting down. The last day, the 31st, they're shutting down. And Periscope belongs to Twitter. And Twitter is thinking about, if they haven't already, plan on having Twitter Live. But they, for those of you that are Periscope, from what I'm being told, if you stay connected with us, that you'll be able to carry over. All right. So let me move on to the next question here. And we'll let you go. All right. 7.58% of blacks who attend college don't graduate. Of the remaining 42%, have end up defaulting on loan debts. Does this affect our ability to get home loans while we're talking about home loans?
Right. So yeah, man. And you remember earlier, right? It came out kind of, like, oh my gosh, man, like, man, this conversation is kind of thick about loans, right? um,
Yeah.
but but one thing though, Dr. White, though, that I realized, man, is our people, we're not familiar with banks. I mean, we have grown not to like banks.
Yeah.
I'll use it. I mean, like, just from my perspective, I've been using me tonight. From my perspective, man, I remember being with my mom on Thursdays. She would get paid on Thursdays, and she would go to the bank down there on the corner. I think back then it was like South Carolina National or something like that. She would go to the bank, cash her check, and then we would go to about 3 or 4 places to pay bills.
Mm-hmm.
And I just remember Thursdays as being a day that was just not good. I mean, like it was like it was not a glorified day, because it's like, man, like, first of all, we got to go to the bank and then go to these 4 places right around, and then she's not in a good mood after that. Right. And so so in my eyes as a kid, getting back to this, in my eyes as a kid, the bank was the first stop though. So I always looked at the bank as being a negative place because we didn't have any money after we left there.
Yeah.
And so
I saw at the bank, it was that I got a sucker. I used to ride with my mom on Thursdays to the bank. Those of you that's listening in Greenwood, South Carolina, it was the county bank right there on the corner, and I look forward to that sucker. But after that, it was done deal. She was mad. Daddy looking for, never mind. Yeah, but it's a bad stigma.
Yeah, man, it's a bad stigma.
Yeah, and I tell you, I had my first real encounter with a loan. My wife and I had some home improvement stuff done, and they were so kind, and it just opened my eyes to, not that they were kind. It was just that I kind of knew a little bit more then, so I wasn't as intimidated. That's what I would say.
That's it.
So,
That's it, man.
Stuff like this, and they were good as well, but I wasn't as intimidated. And
right.
So,
but you were exposed by then, though.
Yeah.
So you were exposed, and man, I know when I went into the bank, that's why I tell people, man, it's the real gift for me. I mean, for being in the bank for 10 years, the real gift is it allowed me to cleanse that faulty mentality I had about finances and banking. It allowed me to cleanse that. And so with the 10 years that I've been there, that's happened. And now I can step back and look at things like this right here, right? Mm-hmm. I can look at things and say, hold on for a second. So now I know what impacts me negatively whenever I'm going to get a loan, whenever I'm going to get a mortgage. I know those things that impact me. Now I can start working to improve those things. And then ultimately this won't be a problem because right here in the statement that's going across the screen. So 58% of blacks who attend college don't graduate. And then out of the remaining 42, have end up defaulting on student loan debt. If we default on our debt, be it student loan, be it credit card, be it whatever, but that's gonna be a major red flag to an underwriter. We just talked about underwriters, right? That's going to be a major red flag to them as well. Because hold on for a second, how am I going to give you a mortgage? How am I going to give you a mortgage if you're saying that you can't pay, Sally Mae back, right? How am I going to give you a mortgage whenever that auto that you have, you didn't give them that money? Mm-hmm. So what makes me think that I'm going to give you money now, whenever you've proven that the education that you have and that flown around, you haven't even paid for it? So, man, we have to begin to cleanse that mentality, look at things at face value, and say, hold on, these are the things that are coming against me. Now let me work to improve those.
Okay, great. All right. Well, we're going to ask if you would share some information about your organization in the Black. And those of you that have a question, if you have a question, you want to go ahead and put that in real quick, and we can get to it before we sign off. But AJ, if you could tell us a little bit about
man,
Black with Mark.
So in the Black, Yeah, yes, sir. So in the Black Man, like I mentioned earlier, it is a program that specifically catered to African Americans and how to close the wealth gap. Man, I mean, I've had the opportunity, and I mean, when the pandemic hit in about this time last year, man, it did my heart so well because we had to put churches on a waiting list because man, we had this virtual component where we would come in and like work with the churches.
Right.
Now it's all streamlined. And we have one in the spring and one in the fall, and so there'll be more information about that too that we can get over to you guys. But man, churches would reach out and want us to be able to tell tell their church families about finances, man, how to work on their finances, how to improve them. We go deep and we talk a little bit about, the word, and we talked about how, how the Bible instructs you to grow and guard your money. And then we talk about some offensive strategies and defensive strategies, man. And it's just a really, really, really good program. The website's there. MarcusBenjamin.com. Marcus Benjamin, man, I've been a direct mentee under him for the past 7 years. And I mean, he's a bishop in the kingdom, and he's a graduate of Winthrop. He was a financial advisor with BB&T, and now he runs the Benjamin Agency, which is just a powerhouse agency that I have the opportunity just to kind of co-labor with, man. And it's just a blessing, man. We're in the trenches helping our people just like you guys are. And so, man, we're grateful.
Well, I'll let you go on this though, but what was it that caused the churches to reach out during this time of pandemic time for financial knowledge?
Man, one.
Oh, hold on.
Okay.
Do you think President Biden is going to be able to forgive student loans, and if so, what would they look like?
Man, Cynthia, I'm going to say that's a giant task. I don't even get
vaccines in our arms. Yes,
we can't even get them right. I mean, man, that's a giant. I don't even know how that got as far as it got, as far as just the conversation being alive. But that's a giant task. I mean you talk about some money. There's a lot of money tied to that, and our company has already
trillions. You're probably talking trillions.
Listen, you are. I mean, think about it, man. Think about it. You have in the millennial generation alone, you know what I mean? I mean, you have 1 out of 3 millennials that are carrying at least $40,000 in student loan debt right now, and that's at a minimum. I mean, that's at a minimum.
Right.
And so, man, that task will be huge. Now, do I foresee some level of assistance? Possibly, especially if the Democratic Party gets a second term. So if if the country goes through and gets 4 more years after Biden's 4 years, or Biden continues for 4, now do I think the possibility of some type of assistance? You probably have to be approved for it, but I think that may be in the question. But man, just forgiving it all, I don't see it. I don't see it.
Yeah, I don't see that either. But that would be nice. My wife would appreciate it. I'm blessed with the military, so I'm sure she appreciate it. She could ain't a paycheck she don't complain about that.
I feel it.
Yeah, and it seems like it never gets paid. I don't know. Yep. Seems like it never gets paid off. That's one of those bills that seems like it just never goes away. So I'm so glad I don't have one, but I guess I do with her being with me. So hers and mine. We met.
Hey, listen. Your wife said, "Hey, you might not have it, but it's a financial strategy, right?"
Yeah. She hooked it up.
Oh, that's funny.
All righty. Okay, man. I appreciate you so much. And if you would be so kind sometime in, I think maybe July, we come back after a couple of weeks and perhaps do a breakdown if we have to do PowerPoints or whatever of actually a strategy of
That's cool,
like
man.
budgeting or what have you. And but for those who are listening, if you have any questions, you can um, email me at mydestinycc@yahoo.com, and we will get it over to AJ. And AJ, I'm sure, will be more than happy to try to answer it for us. All
Will
right.
do, man.
Okay. All right. AJ is going to be expecting twins in July, so y'all be praying for him.
Twins.
So,
Twins.
yeah. All right, brother. We appreciate you.
Man. It's been a pleasure, sir. You guys have a great night.
All right. You too. All right. I want to thank you all for being with us on today. And those of you that will be coming in to hear the broadcast in the middle of the week or the rest of the week, we generally get our numbers once the broadcast has aired. But we hope that you would be empowered. And again, if you have any questions, just let us know and we'll try to answer it. And so that's the meaning of power to the people, giving you power as a community. So God bless you. You guys have a great rest of the evening. And we'll see some of you on Tuesday for Bible study. And we're going to be talking about not letting everybody get on your boat as we talk about Noah. All right. God bless you. And we'll see you then.